When Maya and I got married, we promised each other that honesty would always be the foundation of everything. We weren't just lovers. We were best friends. I knew she didn't want kids right away, and I respected that. We were both career-focused. She had just gotten promoted, and I was launching my own consultancy. So when 2 years into our marriage, she sat across from me at the kitchen table one evening, eyes glassy but sincere, and said, "I'm not ready to have children. Not yet. Maybe not ever." I didn't flinch. I nodded, took her hand, and simply said, "Then we won't." It was that simple for me. Love, after all, is compromise. And I loved her more than anything. Over the next year, I quietly tucked away the little dreams I'd held. The midnight feedings, the papier-mâché school projects, the nervous laughter of someone calling me Dad for the first time. I never brought it up again. I stopped looking at parks full of families with longing. I tuned out every family planning conversation our friends brought up. I defended Maya every time someone asked why we hadn't started a family yet. "We're happy just the two of us," I'd say, smiling for both of us. But around our 5th anniversary, something shifted. Maya became distant. Not cold, but distracted. Her phone was always angled away from me. Her weekends became busier. "Work dinner," she'd say. "A new client, long-term potential." I believed her. Not because I was naive, but because I had never given her a reason to lie. And I didn't think she'd ever need one. Then one night, I came home early from a canceled meeting. Maya wasn't expecting me. Her laptop was open on the coffee table, and she was in the shower. I wasn't trying to snoop, but a single line of text on the screen hit me like a freight train. "So how far along is she?" I froze. I knew her friend Clara's name from the chat window, and that line was a reply in their conversation thread. The next message confirmed what I hadn't even had time to process. Almost 11 weeks. She says it wasn't planned, but she's happy. They both are. I stepped back. I don't remember breathing. 11 weeks. Almost 3 months. I did the math instinctively. That put the conception around the same time Maya had claimed to be working overtime almost every weekend. My stomach churned, but my mind kept pushing. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe Clara is talking about a different couple. But then Maya walked out of the bathroom, towel on her head, humming softly. She saw my face and paused. "Everything okay?" I stared at her, and for the first time, I realized. She hadn't just changed her mind about children. She changed her life. With someone else. I didn't confront her that night. Not directly. I just nodded and said, "Yeah, everything's fine." She smiled and walked past me, completely unaware that her carefully curated illusion was already crumbling. I spent the rest of that evening in bed beside her, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. My mind raced through every late-night excuse, every business trip, every lingering hug she gave when she returned. The puzzle pieces were all there, and I had just been too blinded by loyalty to put them together. The next day, I copied the chat thread from her laptop, emailed it to myself, and printed it out. Then I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I hired a private investigator. Within 5 days, I had photos, Maya with a man I didn't recognize. He looked younger, more casual, the type who probably called her baby, and made her feel 21 again. There they were. Kissing at a cafe, walking into a doctor's office together, his hand protectively resting over her belly. It was undeniable. I confronted her a week later. She had just come home from yoga. In full makeup, looking tired but strangely satisfied. I waited until she was sipping tea, then placed the photos on the kitchen counter, one by one, like dealing cards in a high-stakes poker game. Her face didn't go pale. She didn't scream. She didn't even deny it. She just exhaled, like a burden had been lifted. "So now you know," she said, setting her mug down. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." "You said you didn't want children," I said, my voice trembling not with rage but heartbreak. "I didn't with you," she replied. Her tone was soft, like it was logical, like it wasn't cruel. "You were always so careful, so calculated. I needed passion, spontaneity, life. And so you gave him something you told me you never wanted?" "It's not the same," she said. "He doesn't box me in. He makes me feel alive." I felt like I'd just been unmade. 7 years of faithfulness, of sacrifice, of honoring her boundaries, rewritten in a single afternoon. But still, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I didn't call her names. Instead, I said the one thing she wasn't prepared to hear. Then I'm glad it's him and not me. She blinked. What does that mean? It means you don't get to keep the comfort of a faithful husband while building a new life in secret. You've already made your choice. I'm just catching up. That night, I quietly packed a suitcase. I didn't slam the door. I didn't leave a note. She wasn't worth the drama. She had betrayed me quietly, so I would exit just as silently. But in my silence, I was already crafting something that would speak louder than any confrontation ever could. I moved into a small rental apartment downtown. Just a bed, a desk, and an old leather armchair. It wasn't much, but it was mine. It smelled like freedom and honesty, two things my old home had long been missing. The silence here was different. It wasn't cold or accusing. It was clean, healing. For the first time in years, I could breathe without second-guessing every sigh. I didn't contact Maya again. I didn't need to. Instead, I redirected my energy. I met with a lawyer, explained everything, handed over the PI's report, and filed for divorce citing adultery with full evidence. The process was swift. My lawyer was efficient and ruthless, the way I had never been in our marriage. Maya tried to delay it. She pleaded for discretion, claiming the baby didn't deserve scandal. But it was too late. Her double life was now inked in court documents, and her reputation, the curated image she'd worked so hard to maintain, was quietly unraveling behind closed doors. But karma didn't just whisper to her. It eventually screamed. 3 months after I left, I got a message from an unknown number. It was short. He left. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. It was Maya. I didn't reply. A few days later, Cassie, her old best friend, who hadn't spoken to me since the split, called me. You heard? She asked. No. She lost the baby. I paused. A part of me felt a sharp, instinctual ache, not for her, but for what that life could have been. The child wasn't to blame. But then Cassie added. He was cheating on her. With another woman. Maya found out too late. He moved out. She's all alone now. I said nothing. Because there are moments when the universe delivers consequences more brutally than any man ever could. And while I never wished her harm, I had stopped wishing her anything at all. I still think about the version of me who sat at that kitchen table, hand over hers, promising we'd wait as long as she needed. That man didn't die, he simply evolved. He learned that loving someone doesn't mean erasing yourself to keep them comfortable. And that honoring someone's words only matters when they, too, honor yours. I'm not bitter. I'm better. Stronger. Cleaner. Happier. Sometimes I walk past playgrounds again. I don't turn away anymore. I smile. Because that dream I let go of? It's not gone. It's just not with her. And next time, when I build a future with someone, it'll be with a woman who doesn't ask me to shrink, lie, or wait in silence while she lives double lives. The truth is, Maya wasn't afraid of having children. She was afraid of growing up.